Like I said, we have one item on the agenda, it's employee handbook updates. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Paula Peace.
Good morning.
Good morning.
There's a few updates that need done for the handbook. Like the first one, what brought this up is our sick leave. And currently our policy is your sick leave, you can, as a general matter, you can see that this is what's in the policy now. You can use it for anything that falls under the guidelines of the FMLA. And because of some problems in some of the departments with some frequent use of it, and a couple of the departments that are under the Board of Commissioners having a different policy, not actually going by our handbook, I'm proposing to put this number 2 here, requiring a certificate by a physician to try to alleviate some of that.
Sick leave of any duration if absent from duty recurs frequently or habitually. Here on this back. Back under sick pay. You want to add that one item? But right now we've got on the number 1, absences being out in excess of 3 days, consecutive working days will only qualify for sick pay if the eligible employee submits a written statement from his or her physician certifying that the employee's condition prevent him or her from performing their job duties. And then you want to add this number 2, the sick leave of any duration if absence from duty recurs frequently or habitually. Have you had time to consult with our labor attorneys in Atlanta?
I have not actually spoken with them. I did do a survey of other cities and counties, and out of about 20 that responded, only 2 have different policies that they use, under the same umbrella. Most, like 18 out of 20, go by the handbook.
Do you see any issues with that? You're talking about that.
And I would ask if, I know there's no decisions today, but if we do have other departments under the Board of Commissioners that are going to go not follow the handbook, that those departments should have something in writing, with the HR department, a guideline to go by.
And we've got a few departments right now not going exactly by the handbook as it is written.
We do have 2 that are restricting it to only the employee, which does not follow the guidelines of the FMLA.
Okay. Jerry, you got any questions on that?
No, at this moment.
They just want to call for this one just to see it, just make sure there is no conflict with that anyway. I don't think that.
I think what it cut to the chase, I think if we have employees that are habitually laying out, for lack of a better term, either on a Monday or a Friday. Right now, the way it's set up, normally we don't require them to bring in a doctor's excuse till after they've been out 3 days.
Correct.
And some of them evidently learn how to play the rules. So we do have some that seem to lay out. And I'm sure that's why the supervisors stepped in and tried to come up with some sort of solution to the problem. Go ahead.
Which departments is not?
The road and the water department currently don't do the same policy.
Is that basically because they're on call and going out and working at night and this and that and other, or just?
I think it's pretty much what he just said about some.
We have a few, it seems like we might have a few that seem to be getting sick on a Monday or a Friday for whatever reason.
Yeah, I used to have to take place one to do that.
Yeah, and so what we're trying to do, I think what Paul is trying to do is come up with a solution to have some way to wedge it in as a frequently or habitually doing it on a Monday, Friday, give us some leverage to do some corrective action, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
And I have no problem with that.
It is my hope that we could all use the same policy, maybe with these modifications, so that, you don't have to keep up with separate policies for separate departments, but of course, that's up to y'all.
It all needs to be equal, I think.
Well, I think this last statement right here, if absence from duty recurs frequently or habitually, I think that's where we're getting at, instead of
Well, you
waiting.
have to be careful on that too, as far as somebody with a reoccurring illness or something that
Yeah, I haven't,
we'd have a record of that probably.
yeah, and I haven't, I keep up pretty well with the world news. I don't know if they've got some sort of flu that goes around just on Mondays and Fridays, but,
Yeah, it
Might be-
comes
might
in a
be
bottle a lot of times.
well, yeah.
But you're basically putting it at the discretion of the supervisor to make the request.
Right.
For the-
Yes.
Do we have to define the definition of frequently or habitually?
Or could you just say, notwithstanding number one above, nothing contained in number one would restrict the supervisor from asking for a doctor's certification at his discretion. You see what I mean? That way, there is no precondition. I mean, it's their discretion. They're employed with it. They can make that request if and if the supervisor's abusing it, then they're using it for harassment purposes, and the board deals with him.
There you go. Might work that way. If you can, I don't know, Miss Denny's not here, but if you put us some notes together to that point, and go ahead and forward those to Mr. Barnes and Miss Denny, as well as to me, of course, but, to where we kind of keep up, because we got to, when would you like to, because, well, we got a board meeting in 2 weeks, we could, if we can get this worked out, we can do the upgrades in 2 weeks, or if we need to take another month, so be it.
This is the actual from the water department. I don't have it in writing from the road department. It's kind of what their restrictions are.
I think that and over on the end sort of gets away from it a little more. Proof of purchase of medication. In lieu of the doctor's use.
Yeah, absences will only qualify for sick pay if the employee submits a written excuse from their physician and/or proof of purchase medication prescription. Employees must provide this
Side
notification
prescription.
in 1 day absence. And they were using this as of June 14, 2016.
That's actually when I got the copy. It looks like it was signed on March the 4th of 16.
Evidently, those two supervisors must have had some issues with some employees while they went ahead and instituted this ruling. Can't blame them for that. Any other?
And you're not always gonna get, you're not always gonna get the prescription.
Anything else you got?
Well, there is a couple more updates on the other page, and they're just basically because, well, add to section 4, I wanted to add the definition of an exempt employee and a non-exempt employee according to FLSA, and just touch a little bit on comp time. You know, I know we try to stay away from comp time, but I wanted to give a guideline for some of the other departments that I do know use it, because we don't have anything in writing. And I put an insert from the U.S. Department of Labor, fact sheet number 7. And also just add a couple of things on the holiday pay, which was actually in our previous handbooks, and for whatever reason didn't get put in our last update. I just wanted to put that back in there. And where the retirement plan changed, just wanted to make a couple of minor changes there.
What part of section 8 was omitted on the last handbook? So this whole
Yeah,
two,
those 2 lines,
okay.
those 2 paragraphs.
Yeah, we need to. And when you say add to section 4, the 6 items that you got under section 4, you want all those added to the
Yes.
new list on that one?
What would happen if, like situation we got in last, well, a year ago, Christmas Eve, you know, as far as the flooding and stuff?
What we did during that time, of course, we were eventually reimbursed by the federal government because it went into a thing, but we still paid, I think we paid time and a half.
Yeah, most of,
We're trying to get away from this comp time issue.
yeah, most of our departments, like the road and the water, and the ones who typically get overtime, they just pay the overtime. But a lot of like the court systems that are still within the county and different office positions have non-exempt employees, and they don't really have guidelines to go by. And I just like to put that in the handbook so that we have it in mind.
And that brings up another question. For instance, and I'm going to revert this to Mr. Landon, and you might have to send it to ours down there, but other elected officials that hire their own employees, are they obligated to go by the handbook to which Pickens County puts forth?
If they opt into the personnel plan, they're expected to.
I know they're expected to, but do they have to?
It's hard to put that requirement on them. I mean, it's more of a housekeeping thing. How are we going to make everybody the same? Well, we try to do that through a personnel plan, but at the end of the day, they're the ones that are responsible for their employees. I mean, if they're, for example, the language that we were looking at to add here is within the supervisor's discretion to request that information. Well, you might be able to fire somebody in the road department that doesn't show up 3 Fridays in a row or 3 Mondays in a row, but you can't do that in the sheriff's department, for example, as you know. So, yeah, you can, and I don't know that we've done this, you can make it a precondition of opting in. You know, if you're going to opt in on a personnel plan, and these are the terms and conditions you've got to agree to. But I think by and large with the constitutional officers we have, we've been able to kind of work through that as long as the commissioners don't tell the constitutional officer who they can and discipline for tardies or failure serving and that sort of thing. So I guess it's a yes or no answer. But yes, you can require it, but as far as the end result of that, and the Board of Commissioners enforcing that against another constitutional officer's decision as to how to discipline their employees, it would be very difficult.
No matter what our major handbook says. Okay.
If I can add, as the employees are hired, they are given a copy of the handbook, and most of them, usually
Agree to it.
pretty much agree to it, the other departments. Of course, I know the sheriff's department has to have a different.
And they're a different kettle of fish altogether because of the way they have to do
Right.
their service 24 hours a day as opposed to normal office hours.
But they do try to adhere, as
Yeah,
much as
they
possible.
do.
Okay.
Going back to what your concern was on the sick pay thing, maybe instead of, maybe just deleting that second number 2 there and saying at the end of the sentence of number 1, however, nothing contained in the foregoing sentence shall restrict or require a supervisor from requiring documentation for the entitlement of sick pay, regardless of the duration of the absence. See, because you don't want to, so you can't require anything until 3 days it expires. If that's the problem that supervisor's trying to do, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
And you just tell me what you're doing.
And as far as the restrictions, I know, their policy's restricted to the employee only,
Mm-hmm.
but that might be something to think on.
All right. Any other items you might have coming up?
No, sir, I believe that's it.
Phil? Miss Deborah? Jerry? Miss Fay? You got anything that we need to know before we, some words of wisdom or? How's your audit coming? How's that?
Oh, it's getting here very quickly.
When will they be getting feet on
They're
the
doing
ground?
field work at the agencies, the courthouse offices and the other elected officials, that they're gonna do that the week of February 27th, I believe it is, the last week in February and the first few days of March. And then they will be on site here, the week of March 20th, I believe it is, mid-March, to do the field work for all of our stuff.
Mr. Dawes, appreciate you being here. You got anything going on that maybe the public want to know about?
And probably the commissioners. One of the things that we're working on, new projects right now, we're always working to upgrade our GIS system, our mapping for the county, especially as we're growing all the time. Right now, we're engaged with working with the Georgia Mountains RDC on an upcoming flight for LiDAR and possibly new aerial photography for January of 2018. We made a commitment with them to be part of a large-scale project. If this goes through as anticipated, it would give Pickens County the ability to acquire LiDAR information for a fraction of the cost that it would normally be. Still learning what we're going to see with LiDAR. One of the biggest things is ground resolution and attributes and things of that nature that we'll have to process and work through. But have talked with Johnny, updated him on it, because emergency management personnel and everybody that relies on mapping information is real interested in upgrading these things, especially the federal agencies. A lot of what people go on is old Army Corps of Engineers information from years ago. And what the push is across the nation is to get more updated, accurate information as far as topography, because Pickens County, since the Corps of Engineers did their study years ago, Department of Transportation came in and they changed the topography when they built an interstate here. Everybody that's built a house, everybody that's built a new development somewhere, the ground layer is different than what it used to be. All of this goes into whether it's your floodplain information, it literally affects everybody. So we're on what I believe is the leading edge to keep up with that technology and get it in place, and everybody in Pickens County can benefit from it. So we're working on that right now.
All right. Mr. Nicholson, I know you're now the head man of EOC here at Pickens County. Anything new going on down there?
Not at this time. We've updated the EOC, new equipment. We're working with Roy about the LiDAR and stuff. We're looking at the possibility of some grants from Homeland Security, different things.
Okay.
And we've got 2 generators approved and they're online now. And we should find out this month where the grant is approved for 3 more permanent generators for our water and pump system, and as well as 2 portable ones. So we could use an emergency situation.
Well, thank you. Y'all have any more questions? We've strung it out to 20 minutes. We beat the 3 minutes scenario. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I thank y'all for being here, and we're going to call this meeting adjourned. Thank you. Have a good weekend.